and then I'm gonna just leave it at like an 8. I guess. Oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna put it to like an 8 and just see how that generally looks good. Okay, now just. Well, I mean, it's hitting. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's hitting up.
So anyway, capitalism bad.
Yeah, capitalism bad, socialism good.
Socialism good on paper.
Yeah, on paper. There's so many ways it could work, but there's so many ways where it can't. I mean, look at fucking Russia. Again, that's just like...
I just, like, on paper, especially how a lot of, like... This is, like, a generalization, I guess, of, like, especially how a lot of, like, 14-year-old girls on the internet perceive it. Like,
yeah.
Tumblr users, the classical Tumblr user is like, oh, yeah, socialism good, and they'll list off all, like, the paper terms and uses of socialism from, like, the book, and then...
From, the book.
Yeah, the book. I don't remember who wrote it, because I don't want to sound
Bible.
like a fucking retard. Yeah, the Communist Bible. It would be the Communist Manifesto, actually, but I think it's Karl Marx, isn't it?
Karl Marx did a bunch of shit. I don't know if it's the manifesto. I'm not brushed up on that history.
I think it's the manifesto. I would have to assume.
It's something like that. I'm not, like, deeply into all that knowledge.
There's only one political book that I remember that I...
Yeah, I just know Karl Marx does a lot of stuff
instantly remember who wrote it, and that's Mein Kampf. Like, when someone tells you, Mein Kampf, and they're like, yeah, who wrote it, you're immediately just like Hitler, because it's just really recognizable, but...
Love the book, the movie, the live action, way better. I wasn't born when it came out.
Damn, yeah, the Communist Revolution, the movie, that was a really good one.
I want to say it's more of a live action improv take. Like, we don't have any recreations of it, but the Holocaust was definitely like a really nice live action improv for like how humans could act towards each other. But that shit, it wasn't like, come on, it wasn't real. It wasn't real. It was like all staged by like the government, but like the Germans they didn't do any of that stuff,
Just ignore the 3 million missing Jews in this time period.
No, it was all made up by like the government.
3 million Jews go missing. Yeah, I don't know where they went. Gone with the wind. No idea where they went. People's registration of like, oh yeah, communism, that just comes out of like the Communist Manifesto. But then when you see people try to like reflect that in real world governments, so far it has not worked in a way that meshes well with like human rights or basic human decency. Bunch of really heinous shit, then they collapsed. Now it's Russia and they run on like a slightly different system. They're like am I retarded? They're like a republic now, right? They aren't still running under communism per se.
I don't know. I live in America, to be honest.
They have like a premiere now instead of...
Oh, they have a premiere showing for their country?
No. Like the political...
Is it a new live-action movie?
Yeah, new live-action movie. Another 3 million people dead as a Russian Revolution takes place again. No, but it's like, okay, so Russia did it, fell apart, and now they're just getting clowned on the world stage every, like...
Basically.
Decade. Pretty much.
Do we just not talk about, like, the atrocities that North Korea is still fucking doing?
No, I was going to say North Korea next, because they're fucked.
I'm just saying, like, it's been going on for, like, years and years. There was a big thing about it. There was a chick that, I remember her name.
Not necessarily that we're ignoring it. It's just that it's hard to...
Bro,
in the current political climate of the past, like, couple decades, it's really... really hard to intervene in a country like that.
Kind of, but in itself, like, we still condone talking and creating, like, trades and stuff like that with China, but yet China still, like, funds North Korea for their weapon testing.
And China also, like, actively oppresses its people.
Yeah.
All that
That's
shit.
what I'm saying, how is, as America, we're associated? Like, nothing against China. Or any, the people, but, like, the people in power that are causing all this problems and shit, and, suffering, whatever you want to call it, like, how are we still, like, like, it's like, oh, you're
It's
a really
because of,
shitty
like,
person,
the
but
current. It's because of like the current world politics and the way like the balance of power is situated in the world right now. It's like, yeah, sure, America theoretically on paper could just go in and intervene in North Korea because they're way fucking smaller and their ballistics program.
But then we have to deal with China.
Garbage.
And all that shit.
But like you also have to deal with like they still actively pose a nuclear threat, and they're not like Afghanistan where it's like 5 states all just kind of compressed into one area that are fighting each other.
It's still a country that
it's an
actively
entire country.
states that they are starving their citizens in order to not get a revolution and to kill off until 1% remains before they rebuild and fully commit to redoing their whole country.
Yeah. And it's like, on paper...
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, how do we still condone... Like, how are we still working with people that still condone this shit? It's like,
on paper,
yeah, you're a real,
could
like...
step in because the U.S., in, like, a morality sense, obviously doesn't condone that, officially. But... it's like, if you step in there, the political ramifications...
Like, it needs to be a movement. Like, it shouldn't just be, like, something you talk about. Like, oh, yeah, North Korea is fun. Like, granted, what the fuck am I gonna do? I barely make enough money to fucking pay my mortgage. So it's not like I can, like, donate money to fucking... Because, like, if money wasn't an issue, like we have talked about before, then yes, I would definitely volunteer to, like, try and... Like, I would go whoop some North Korean ass if they try to, like, no, like, Kim Jong-un, I will skull fuck you and your mother, but...
I don't think any country would exist as it does right now, honestly. Like, Venezuela, they just had a straight dictator who, like, vaguely operated under communism. And now Venezuela has, like, essentially collapsed in everything but name, and there are people just fucking starving and dying, and you're...
Damn, I'm so hungry.
It's like the 1930s history lessons where they're like, yeah, after Germany lost World War I, you had motherfuckers in the streets of Berlin. You went to go buy, like, a loaf of bread, and you'd have to take, like, an entire wheelbarrow full of fucking cash because inflation got so bad. And that's kind of what I heard was happening in Venezuela last I checked. But, like, if money is not an issue, then that's not really what would happen.
We're just, as a country, like, I feel like we're fucked, but at the same time, we're not fucked. Like, we can solve, like, I feel like we can solve this problem. But yet, the people that are in power, that, like, can actively make change that, like, I can't necessarily do, like, just decide, or just, like, kind of, I feel like just deciding not to do anything. They're just like, eh.
I feel like America has this weird relation with, like... intervention in foreign countries because, like, way back in the day we used to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Or, that's not really a good point. It's like, okay, we intervened at the end of World War I, and then we stepped in during World War II, and that was for, like, moral reasons. And
no, the only reason
dragged in for, like, allied purposes.
No, the only reason, even then with the allies, America was like, we're not touching this. We don't, like,
because we didn't want to. We were isolationists at the time, but it was still like a moral.
It wasn't
thing
until
in the end in the
like,
States where we were.
It
like,
wasn't until
we
1941.
Don't fuck with this.
It wasn't until 1941 when Pearl Harbor happened, and then we were like, okay, now like you want to come fuck with us, like, okay,
yeah, in
we'll
World
show
War
you.
II, but like in World War I, the whole war. We kind of fed a couple people some weapons, but like general public opinion was like, we don't really fuck with what's going on here. And I think it was kind of the same in World War II, where like we didn't step in, but like your average citizen's opinion was like, yeah, this is kind of fucked up. And then we stepped in because we were directly attacked. Whereas nowadays, American policy on foreign intervention is this weird limbo, I feel, between like sometimes we're stepping in because we're like, this is fucked up and we cannot let this continue. And in those areas, we don't step in enough to really have an effect.
Like
and
Ukraine.
Then sometimes the U.S. steps in for monetary or resource gain, and we step in like all the
like
fucking
Desert
way.
Storm?
Yeah, like Desert Storm, where we're just like, oh yeah. Or we came in, fucked some people up, and then got oil in the aftermath. And everyone's like, yeah, why is America...
decided that we were going to leave
Yeah,
and
we
then,
got the oil and fucking left.
And then left. And then the Middle East was
them
like...
bitches dry and then left.
And then the Middle East was like, oh, wait, but we still need your protection. And then, like...
We were like,
and then
no.
the United States was like, you know what? We'll stay here and keep training you and giving you protection if you keep giving us oil at, like, a very, very discounted rate.
Yeah.
So it was all just like, hey, you give us oil? Maybe we'll help.
It's like this weird fucking balance because, like, sometimes we're not doing enough, and then sometimes we're doing too much, and people are just like, yeah, why is America the fucking world police when it feels like when we should be the world police, we're not doing anything. Yeah. And then when we shouldn't, like, we're doing too fucking much. We should just be doing
this to be like, hey, that's wrong. We're going to step in and not be the bystander.
We're like one of the biggest powers in, like, NATO and the United Nations, and we just don't fucking do anything when it comes to, like...
No, I love that shit. So... From when I was in the military, I always did training on like when we had to do like a year or every 6 months, every 3 months, whatever the training was. There was one where it was like teaching people. It's called SHARP, and EO. It's equal opportunity, and then there's sexual harassment, rape prevention, something. It's SHARP. So I haven't done it in forever. I haven't been in for a while. But one of the things is, like, we train soldiers, don't be a bystander. If you see something wrong, pitch in, do it. Don't expect anything out of it, just being a nice person. We teach our kids, don't be a bystander. If you see something going on and it's fucked up, intervene. Do what you can. Stop the bully, whatever. When a country is being fucking invaded by another superpowered country, and the United States goes, we'll give them a written warning. But we're not going to step in and do anything.
Like a written warning, and then we, like, gave them some vehicles, and then I remember I was watching some of the
like, we preach to, like, our kids and shit.
It's just online intelligence, and there was just, like, a bunch of countries have vehicles and, like, troops and shit. One country over on the border, and they're just letting refugees through. Yeah. And they can't cross the border because... The Ukraine situation's so fucked up because it's like we could intervene, but nobody has so far because Russia is so big, and even though we found out that so far their military is pretty fucking incompetent.
Did you also hear that apparently Russia
continuously threatens, like, nuclear warfare? So it's the balance of, like, do you want to test if Putin will do that and go in anyway and make it way easier for Ukraine? Because then it's a coin flip of, like, if he does do it, the whole planet's fucked. If he doesn't, that's a major advance because now you just clowned on fucking Russia and they didn't do anything about it. And now that's, like, a major change in the world stage.
There's also the thing of, I just heard about it. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's real. I saw it on TikTok. There's apparently a submarine that Russia owns where it's got, like, one of the biggest nuclear warheads or something like that on it. It's called, like, the Poseidon or some shit. And, like, it's just gone now. Like, it's just not there. Like, no one knows where it's at.
Yeah,
and that thing, like, there's the idea that they can shoot it at California or some shit, and it'll like cause, like, tsunamis all around the world, and, like, basically only the Midwest will be above water or some shit. Like, there's some, like... I don't know. I've heard, like, other stuff about it.
That sounds kind of fucking ridiculous, but I don't know.
It does sound kind of fucking ridiculous. Hold on, I'm going to play it and then put it into the microphone. Hold on, because I have it... I think I, like, hearted it or something so that way I can come back to it. Okay, here it is.
It has just been reported that Russia's most powerful nuclear submarine has just gone missing from its harbor. This is the world's largest submarine, which carries an infamous weapon system called Poseidon. Now, Poseidon is the world's largest intercontinental nuclear torpedo, capable of triggering 1,600-foot nuclear tsunamis that would inundate coastal cities from hundreds of miles away and would render them uninhabitable for decades. NATO immediately warned its member states, including the US, that the submarine had left its base and to remain on high alert. Genuinely not trying to create fear here, but listen to this. The Belgorod, which only entered the Russian Navy service in July, is regarded as the epitome of a new concept of warfare, and Poseidon is known as the weapon of the apocalypse. As soon as more information is available, I'll keep you guys updated. It has just been reported.
I don't know, like...
Sounds kind of wacky.
Yeah, I mean it's Dylan Page.
Photos of it, but also... Like, you can just caption a photo whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
so
like, this was posted, like, 2 days ago. I don't know if, like, this is actually real. I don't know if Russia has, like, a submarine
I don't
called
know if that's
Poseidon.
the kind of intel that would get out that fast, too. Like, something that major that would cause so much panic was like, hey, Russia just has, like,
yeah,
a
but
huge,
also think about, like, the
Tom Clancy-style nuclear
yeah, but, like, think about, like, all the people
now.
that are in, like, conspiracy theories and monitor this shit. Because, like, half of the shit, like, I think, like, bro, there's probably someone who's big conspiracy theorist and, like, has a giant, like, whatever, you know, or super, it's gonna be that one guy who's got binoculars,
yeah,
you know, the equivalent to, but he's got, like, this whatever amount of money, and he's just like, I know fucking Russia's doing shit, and it's like, oh, I have, like, all of this.
No, military intelligence is so fucking weird to me, because, like, sometimes I'm like, there's no way this is the kind of shit that would just leak, but also you look online and there's stories like,
do you not remember fucking WikiLeaks?
No, I remember WikiLeaks.
Bro, now think about it. That happened now, today, with technology we have today. And, like, especially just Twitter. Things just blowing up.
He didn't get, like, arrested that fucking long ago. It was, like, a year or two.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still, like, obviously, like, you're not going to use WikiLeaks anymore.
To me
like,
but that's because, like, you'd think, like, oh, this isn't the kind of shit that would leak. And then you look online and there's stories, like, fucking War Thunder players sometimes when they're beefing on the War Thunder forums, motherfuckers will just leak classified documents to win a battle on the forum.
Dude, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some motherfucker that was, like, heard about this and, like, tweeted it to his buddy.
Like,
was like, oh my god, check this out.
There was a British guy who was fighting somebody on the forums about the specs of the main British MBT, because he was like, yeah, it's not really accurate in this game, and some guy told him he was a retard, and he just dropped the specs from his fucking manual just on the forums. and the fucking British government contacted the forums, and he was like, yeah, he could get put in prison for like 12 years for this. You gotta take this down.
Jesus. That's just
like,
there, like, for, like,
just
I wouldn't be surprised
time.
if this is real. Like, someone just being like, oh, hey, dude, like, I know this guy up at, like, NASA, he could totally, like, zoom in and, like, look at this.
NASA,
yo, bro, like, I just heard some shit.
NASA
can you,
like, all the times, and
like,
it's just
boom,
in
like,
circles.
tweeted him or, like, messaged him, be like, hey, can you go check Russia out real quick? Like, can you, like, go to here and just, like, see,
really quick,
and be like, oh, yeah, like, I have, like, whatever, like, time on, like, the satellite or some shit, and it's like, yo, dude, it's gone. And I was like, oh, shit. Well, like,
this
fuck you, Russia.
Sounds ridiculous, though. This is some, like, ace combat shit.
Yeah, like, oh, what are
no,
the comments?
because it's like the most advanced submarine in the world. There's a fucking ace combat submarine in, like, Ace 7. I'm just gonna drop the fucking nerd lore really quick.
Bro said not trying to create fear, then says this weapon is called the Apocalypse.
Jesus Christ. In fucking Ace Combat 7, there's the submarine that just goes missing in the bottom of the ocean, and it's just fully crewed, and it's this combo submarine aircraft carrier with a fucking railgun in it.
Someone put, I have that submarine in GTA.
Yeah, I bought that shit with a shark card, don't even... God damn, man. Shit like that happens all the time. It just always gets so weird. Like, I don't know if I've brought it up on an episode. I might have just talked to you about it before. How, like, way early on, when news about the Ukraine conflict started breaking, news sources kept using clips that they claimed were showing, like, real combat footage, and it was just clips from, like, Arma 3.
We should all just have cheese and love.
What?
I don't know.
Average French citizen?
2021 wasn't that bad.
Okay.
No, bro, 2022 is just freestyling right now. Yeah, fam. Yo, boy.
Yeah.
I feel like this is... Fuck, dude. I hate being poor. Like, I wouldn't say, like...
Average
I'm not...
American. Fuck, I hate being poor.
I wouldn't say like I'm poor, but I'm poor where all my bills are paid, but I can't do anything. And I still stress about money. Like the bills get paid, but like, oh fuck, like, great. Like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, if that makes sense. That's a lot better than just like I'm poor.
Fuck,
But I am
poor.
But I am.
I think you just go around looking at homeless people on the street. Yeah, fuck. At least I'm not that guy.
At least I'm better you than me.
Better you than me? What the fuck? Like, damn, bro, that's rough anyway. Goes back to sipping like a caramel macchiato.
Goes back to sipping latte, looking at homeless, legs crossed, one leg up
fucking
on my knee, sipping a latte at a Starbucks. Looks over at homeless man, go, better you than me.
You're just thinking while you're sipping, like, damn, I hate being poor.
Damn, I hate being poor, but not as poor as that guy.
Could have had a caramel macchiato instead, but no, I got it.
I might be poor, but I got a caramel macchiato.
I'm sitting here with a shitty coffee. He's sitting there with no coffee. At least I'm not that guy.
At least I'm not that guy. At least I have a coffee.
Still no house, though. You still live in a box, but it's just like, man, at least I have a coffee. He doesn't even have a fucking coffee. That's tough.
You might have a house, but I have a coffee.
I have a coffee. That's way better. Which one of
You
us
might have a house, but I got a caramel macchiato.
Which one of us is happier?
Wait, what's that? Oh, is
Those are all homes that would be empty, but motherfuckers that run Airbnbs rent them out instead. And then California has a homeless problem of like 66,000 people.
But yeah, they have all of the...
Yeah, and those are all those homes that are theoretically empty 90% of the time.
What
the?
the?
Airbnbs.
I mean, damn, that...
Yeah. Nobody comes...
Damn, California. Okay. Weird flex, but okay.
Americans need to understand that this is why my generation can't afford to own a house outside of smallest town USA. This is also why people my age in bigger cities struggle to find decent apartments that don't consume half of our monthly income.
Yeah.
Housing speculation is when rich folk corporations and wannabe landlords buy up property and sit on it like dragons hoarding gold. The Dutch have a dragon-adjacent term for this because speculation devastated their housing market in the 70s to 80s, leading to some gnarly Dutch squatting culture. They let homes sit empty, good as money in the bank, and watch the value increase as everybody else competes for the remaining houses.
Jesus.
So it drives up property, like, pricing. That's value they can borrow against. That's a few $100,000. Quotation, I live in Chicago. Many of the properties that used to house students, small families, single parents, older people, low-income folks have been gobbled up by little Airbnb barons who colonize previously well-established neighborhoods and price out families who've lived there for generations because they can't keep up with the artificially inflated property values.
Damn, son.
The Airbnb spread like cancer until a handful of people can dominate the affordable housing for an entire neighborhood. It's gentrification on meth, but without the kind of localized money circulation or community improvements you get when people live and work and spend within their neighborhoods. Pushes residents further and further from services and resources until all that's left is the locked-in commodification of an exploitable renting class.
Fuck.
Yeah, so you see fucking
Also,
homeless
did you see,
people
like,
and you're like, damn, why don't they have, like, a house or a place to rent?
Yeah, there's, like... I feel like just housing in general, like, could definitely solve a lot of homeless problems.
I guarantee you,
just,
in a
like,
given area with homeless people, and this is just off the top of my head based off of just shit I see around, if you take the entire homeless population of a given area, like a given living area, like this fucking town, for instance, right? Say there's like 1,000 or something homeless people here, yeah? I can almost guarantee you there is enough housing for all of them and possibly then some.
See, but then we get into like the weird socialist kind of point where it's like...
empty. That might just be empty that they could be squatting in, but it's owned by like a fucking landlord instead and they don't rent it out.
That's true.
And it's the same concept in bigger like cities, except for there it's like, oh, they're fucking like Airbnbs or just like little like indie hotels or whatever, and like you could Like, they could be living there, but they aren't because motherfuckers are out there playing landlord instead for, like, nothing. Like, a given living area. Like, this fucking town, for instance, right? Say there's, like, 1,000 or something homeless people here, yeah? I can almost guarantee you there is enough housing for all of them and possibly then some.
See, but then we get into like the weird socialist kind of point where it's like
empty. That might just be empty that they could be squatting in, but it's owned by like a fucking landlord instead and they don't rent it out.
That's true.
And it's the same concept in bigger like cities, except for there it's like all they're fucking like Airbnbs or just like little like indie hotels or whatever, and like you could like they could be living there, but they aren't because motherfuckers are out there playing landlord instead for like